Hello, it's Steve Mills here. Welcome. Thank you for your time in attending the Results Mastery webinar. It's great to have you here, and I want you to know that I really do appreciate your time. Often the investment in time is more expensive than the investment in money. So I really do appreciate it, and I want you to know that I really will try to do my best to make sure that your investment in time is well worth your while in being here. We're going to be here for about half an hour, give or take a few minutes, and we're going to be talking today about growing a business. We're going to be discussing some skills and ways in which we can grow. Now, at the end, I'm going to make you an offer. And that offer is there's a couple of things that you might be interested in buying from me. But mainly, I want to talk to you about a an offer of a free get together, a free one-to-one meeting done online, done on Zoom, and this is not a sales pitch for me, but rather me continuing to add value to you. I really do believe that one of the biggest mistakes that people make when selling things, whether that's marketing or in a direct sales situation, is they go straight for the jugular. I get people every day saying, "Will you connect on LinkedIn? I've looked at your website and I'd love to connect with you, Steve." And I go, "Yeah, sure." And 30 seconds later, they've sent me a pitch trying to sell me something. And, it's just too early, I believe. So I want you to spend a half an hour with me on this webinar and then spend another half an hour on a one-to-one basis. And if at the end of that you want further help, just ask me and I'll be very happy to talk to you about what I can do for you. But I will, in that second half an hour, as I will in the first one, do my best to try and help you. So welcome. Fantastic to have you here. Thank you for your time, and let's crack on with what we're going to talk about. So, I'd like to take a couple of moments just to share my screen. I'm also going to share with you a couple of PowerPoint slides. So, just bear with me a moment while I get all that organized. Okay, so hopefully you can see me. I'm up in the top right-hand corner, looking a little bit smaller. I was trying to work out how to make my screen a little bit bigger, but I think that's beyond my technology at the moment, or I'm on, beyond my ability anyway. Not quite sure how to do that, but never mind. It doesn't really matter. And again, welcome. Just a couple of things on my background, just to give you some knowledge of me. Perhaps you don't know me and this is your first time with me. So I've spent nearly 30 years helping businesses to succeed. I've ran my business now for over 30 years. I'm the author of 4 books on sales and marketing. I'm a professional speaker. I've spoken in countries, not quite all over the world, but in many different countries, as you can see. I'm also slightly interested, well, I think it's interesting anyway, interesting enough for me to mention. I'm a former international and professional sportsman, having played the world's #1 participation sport. And I'd like to bet you don't know what that is. A lot of people say it's fishing. It's not. That's the UK's #1. But the most popular sport in the world in terms of playing is, in fact, table tennis. And that's largely due to the fact that it's the Chinese national sport. And so there's a fair few people over there play it. But anyway, yeah, I did that for 10 years. And the one thing I think that taught me is that, I always remember my dad telling me it doesn't matter how you play, it matters whether you win or not. And I think that's, you know, I know in amateur sport, it's all about participation, and school sport, it's, everybody wins and all that sort of stuff. But the truth is, in life, and in business and in professional sport, it's about winning. If I've got a presentation to do in front of a company, and this is for an order for £100,000, and I go and do my presentation and have my meetings with them, and let's say three other companies do as well, the one company, the one that wins the £100,000 order. What does the company who finished second get? They get nothing. And whilst that might be harsh, it's also true. So what I want to do is today to start get you thinking about how you can improve your results, specifically your sales results, your marketing results, and therefore your business results. So onward, here we go. Okay, so why is results mastery essential for your business? Well, let me just clarify. My company's called Results Mastery. I've got programs called Results Mastery. However, this is not what I'm talking about here. You don't have to have my company. You don't have to have me or my products. What you do have to have is a results mastery mindset, I believe. And what I mean by that, I mean an attitude that everything, and I mean everything, can be improved. Mastering your results. Let's put the words the other way round, which is really what it's all about, mastering your results. Because I can tell you here and now that your results are not as good as they could be. I know that based on working with thousands of businesses in hundreds of industries for 30 years. And I've never found a business yet, and I include my business in that, that is working perfectly. Everything is great. They're maximizing their results in everything that they do. It's just not true. It's a fallacy. And to be honest, I don't think it ever will be true. There'll always be something that I can improve in my business. And I really do believe that there will always be something that I can help you improve, and you can improve yourself in your business. So why master results? Mastery is literally about, it's like, why do you want to do better? It's really essential to raise your game, because I can tell you, certainly in the world of marketing, that my belief is firmly that all marketing works, all of it, everything works. The trouble is it doesn't work all the time. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say it doesn't work most of the time. Most of the time, the results we get are nowhere near the level that we could get. So that said, let's move forward again. So again, just a little bit about me, because I want you to know a bit about where this expertise, where this comes from. I mentioned some of it actually does come from my years in table tennis, knowing that I had to improve my serve and my backhand and my forehand and my footwork and my speed and my spin and my everything. But it also comes from an attitude, again, that I picked up in table tennis, come to think of it. And that was that I need to get around the best in the world if I possibly can. Because the more people, I mean, I'm sure you've heard that, our net worth is roughly within 10% of the people who we surround ourselves with, so that we need to have a group of people that we can work with or be around or spend time around that are more successful than us, and they'll help us to raise our game. If we have a group of friends who are below that, then that's probably not going to happen. So I spent a lot of time around what I call the leading sales, marketing, and business growth people in the world. I actually invested over £125,000 of my own money and over 25,000 hours. Now, when you get that in context, they say that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And I believe I've spent 25,000 hours learning stuff from the world's leading experts. I'm also really up to date in terms of digital marketing, despite the grey hair. And I've also got a team of highly skilled people that some businesses utilize because they don't have time to do some of this stuff. So they just decide to outsource it to us so we can help with that too. So onward. Let's just talk for a few moments about the purpose of the business, because this is important. When I ask people, what's the purpose of your business? They tell me all sorts of things. It's to help people, it's to, provide this service or that service, to help people to do this, to help businesses to do that, and so on and so forth. But the true, real purpose of a business, I believe, is just one thing. Your business, my business, every business, even a charity. The purpose of a business is to make a profit. It's as simple as that. If you're a charity, you want to make a profit so that you can help people. All right. If you're a commercial business, you want to make a profit so that you can have the things that you want and pay people and employ people and do all the good, hopefully, that you want to do. But it's still about making a profit. And there are only two ways of making a profit. One is to increase sales, and the other is to reduce costs. That's it. Two things. So my question to you, or the first question that you might want to consider, not necessarily now, but maybe in a meeting internally, or just spend some time thinking, which is really a thing that a lot of people don't do. It's one of the big mistakes that I see in business. They don't have thinking time. Personally, my thinking time every day is 7:30 to 8 o'clock every morning is thinking time. So, it might be a good idea for you to allocate half an hour, quarter of an hour, something like that every day to thinking. Think, don't just think, but think about a subject. So here I'm suggesting think about what you could do to reduce costs. That would be one day. You could do that one day per month. You allocate a certain day to think about reducing costs. Another day might be to think about increasing sales, which is the other way of making more profit. Now, the truth of the matter is obviously with reducing costs, you can only reduce them by so much. It's limited. Even if you reduce them right down to zero, it's still limited. You can't, you got to spend something really. But it's a good thing to do. Don't get me wrong, especially if you can reduce costs and invest that into marketing to increase sales, which literally is unlimited. Now, it might be limited if I don't know, you're a landscape gardener based in Basingstoke, and all you really want to do is to provide that service in Basingstoke. But if you're open to providing that service right throughout the UK or right throughout the world, then literally that service is unlimited. So, let's think about where we want our business to go. And if the purpose of it is to make a profit, what we need to do to increase sales. Okay, to increase sales and to grow our business, there are really three key skills. Now, I learned this from a gentleman called Michael Gerber. Now, Michael Gerber, you may have heard of because he's the author of the renowned business book called The E-Myth. It's got a subhead, Why Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. And in my opinion, I sometimes slightly joke about the E-Myth, and what I say to people is that there should be a law in this country that says you're not allowed to start a business until and unless you have read the E-Myth. And that I'm passionate about it. I think it is truly the best business book I've ever read. And I've read hundreds, if not thousands, of business books over the last 30 years. So go and buy the E-Myth. I'm not on commission. I can't sell it you. Actually, I can. I think it's on my website right now. But buy it wherever. Amazon's probably the easiest place to go and buy it. Go and buy it on Amazon, and it's brilliant. You can even. I saw the other day they were selling second-hand copies of the E-Myth for a fiver. So go and buy one of those if you can't afford a new one. If you're just starting in business or something like that. But anyway, three things that Gerber talks about. He says that one of the biggest problems is what he calls operational expertise or operational skills. And that is that most people in business are highly skilled operationally. So let me give you an example. So somebody's a lawyer. They decide that they're fed up working for their law practice and they're going to go out on their own and start their own business. Believe him, because they're good at the law, understanding how to do that, that they can run a business that does that. And the simple truth is they can't. They may or may not be very good at finance, managing the money. They may or may not, in fact, often not, to be honest with lawyers, are very good at selling and marketing. And the same is true in almost any and every industry. The hairdresser opens his or her beauty salon, believing because they're good at cutting hair and all the other stuff that they do, that they'll be able to run a business that does that. The landscape gardener does that. The coach, the life coach, the consultant. If you're a HR consultant and you're good at HR, you've spent 20 years working for a company as head of HR, and you decide to go out on your own, all of a sudden you've got to manage the money. You've got to be good at bookkeeping, at understanding the numbers in your accounts. An accountancy friend of mine tells me that most business owners spend less than um, 2 minutes looking at accounts. They just don't do that. And certainly in marketing, if I asked you, let me just ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful, 10 being truly world class, and 5 being average, where would you be operationally? Where would you be operationally? My guess is that you'd be somewhere up round a 7, 8, or a 9. No, but nobody, I don't believe, is a 10. Nobody's perfect. So you'd be pretty good at that if you're in business. You repair cars, and that's what you're good at. Next, finance. How good are you at finance? Do you really understand? If I gave you a balance sheet, would you be able to read it? Would you really understand the profit loss, the tax implications, everything that you need? Or do you just rely on an accountant who you meet once a year? What about sales? Where would you be in that? People say, "Oh, I don't like selling. I'm not a salesperson." Well, now's time to change that. Trust me, times are tough. We need to become better at what we're doing. Okay, so let's move on. The 6 principles of business growth, of results mastery based business growth. Number one is the key to geometric growth. And that is that everything can be improved. That is the key to it. So let me give you a really quick example. Let's take your website, your homepage specifically. And we look at your homepage and we think, right, what can be improved? Well, the first place I always go is the headline. I get pages with a headline like our services or about us. Rest assured, nobody could care about you. All they care about is what you can do for them. So instead of saying about a web page called About Us, what about calling it How We Can Help You? Might be a better headline than About Us, because I couldn't care about you. You couldn't care about me. What you do care about is, can Steve help? That's all you care about. That's why you're here today. You're hoping that Steve can help. Something that Steve's going to say along the way is going to resonate with you, and you're going to think, wow, yeah, that would be really, really valuable. Okay. So, geometric growth, headlines, words we can improve. The use of pictures we can improve. Subheads we can improve. The addition of testimonials we can add or improve the ones that we've already got. The use of video. Video is sadly lacking in so many businesses' marketing and definitely on websites and web pages. What about SEO, search engine optimization? What about using social media to drive traffic to your website? What about knowing and understanding how many people come to your website every month and then working on using email, using paid advertising, using social media to drive traffic from all those sites back into the hub of your business, which is your website? That's what geometric growth is all about. Now, you may say, well, that's great for a website, but what about referral, Steve? We want to win business from referral. Same thing applies. If your strategy right now for winning business on referral is to hope that people will recommend you, you need to do more than that. We need to have 4 or 5 different strategies to get more business from referral. And again, I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm just hoping you get the concept. What about LinkedIn? Your strategy right now is to post on there once a month, or once a week, and you're not really winning any business. Well, we need to harvest and use the strategy of geometric growth. We need to do more. We need to do different things. We need to improve your profile. We need to get more contacts. We need to communicate with those contacts more often. We need to demonstrate our expertise. We need to use videos. We need to use groups on LinkedIn. And that's just a few things that you need to do to get geometric growth on LinkedIn. I win over 100 grand a year on LinkedIn. How about you? Is your plan winning that? It could do. One client of mine won £42 million. £42 million. I should have been on commission. I really should. But, that's not bad, is it? And that's not bullshit either. That's absolutely true. So number 2, then, let's just look at that. 3 ways of growing a business. Again, learnt from Jay Abraham back many, many years ago, probably 30 plus years ago. Jay's one of the world's leading experts in marketing. And he said that there are 3 ways of growing a business. Number 1 is to get more customers. We all know about that one, Jay. Number 2 is to increase the average transaction value. In other words, the average amount of money each customer spends each time they buy from you. And number 3 is to increase the frequency of repurchase. In other words, to get people to come back more often and buy from you again and again and again. Now, to look into a supermarket or a shop metaphor, I've got to get more people into my supermarket. I've got to get them to fill their baskets more, or fill them with more expensive products and or services. And then I've got to get them to come back and buy from me rather than going to other supermarkets and buy from me again and again and again and again. Increase the footfall, get them to buy more, and get them to come back again and again and again. And what are you doing under those 3 things? Because if you're like most of the businesses that I speak to, you're spending a lot of time, effort, and money on number 1, trying to get new customers, trying to sell to strangers. And it's the hardest, most expensive, most difficult thing to do. And yet you're not speaking to and marketing to your current customers, your past customers, anywhere near to the level that you probably could. So I hope that's of value to you. Why most marketing does not work and what to do about it. I said all marketing works, but the truth is most of it doesn't. Now, what to do, why it doesn't work is because it's done badly, because it's lack of expertise. It's, I give you an example. People uh, put an advertising campaign together on Google using Google AdWords, and they stick an amount of money into the campaign. Let's say they just start off at, I don't know, £20 a day, and then they leave it. And they wake up a month later and go, oh, I wonder how well that's done. And they look and they found they've spent £600 and they've got no leads. And they think, that Google AdWords, it's a waste of time. It's just cost a fortune. Let me go and try Facebook AdWords. So they go onto Facebook and they do exactly the same thing. And then they think, do you know what? Facebook's been a waste of time as well. Let's try LinkedIn advertising. And they try that, and that's a waste of time. And the truth of the matter is that they've done it in a way that didn't work. All they've done is found a way for it not to work. Maybe it was a poor headline. Maybe the words weren't good. Maybe actually the headline worked. And the job of the headline or the advert is to get people to click on the ad on Google, and loads of people have clicked, hence it's cost you £600. But when they've gone to your website, excuse me, when they've gone to your website, the landing page is rubbish because it's got no video. It's got a poor headline. The words aren't great. The bullets aren't great. There's no testimonials. The call to action's not as good as it could be. Are you with me? So we've got to work on all those things in order to try and improve them. Right? Now, you may be thinking, well, this sounds like a lot of work. It is. It is a lot of work. But being successful is hard work. This is not about, some little quick, little simple way of, if I change this, then all of a sudden I'm going to be successful. It's about, I often say to people, the three most important things in marketing are testing, testing, and testing. Trying different things to find what works. And that could take months, not just a few days. So it's not something that's easy. It's something that takes time. Um, Next one, developing a results-based sales system. So many businesses let the ball go and don't follow up effectively. There's an old saying that it takes eight contacts to make a sale. Eight contacts. Now, is that true? I don't really know. It could be urban myth. But what I do believe is that people drop the ball. They phone up, they don't get through to somebody, so they send them an email, and then a couple of days later they phone again, leave another message, and then that's it. They maybe do another email. If it takes eight contacts, I believe that any results-based sales system should have at least 12 different steps, 12 things that you're going to do. When that inquiry comes in, what is your system? What is it that you're going to do? Next, if you want a better business, then not your managers or your people, you need to become a better business owner. You need to be a better business owner. Now, if you are, your managers and your people will get better because you'll be better at training them, advising them, helping them, motivating them. Okay, so want a better business, become a better business owner. Next one, I'm not very techy. How often have I heard that? I don't like digital marketing. I don't like marketing. I don't like computers. I'm not very techy. You know, just get over it, as Nike would say. Just do it. We have to learn it. I'm not from a techie background. When I was a young man, there was no such thing as computers. There was no such thing as mobile phones. And yet I learnt it. Not brilliant. I'm not the world's leading techie person. I'm certainly, there's a level of techiness that I do not go beyond, but I'm pretty good. And certainly as far as digital technology, I'm probably at the forefront of that. So, stop making that an excuse, and start learning it. And or find somebody who is. You can't just go, oh well, that's not for us. We this AI stuff. Oh, that's terrible because people are copying people's voices. So we don't want to be part of that. No, that's the dark side of it, and it does exist. But the good side of it is fantastic. It's a great opportunity. And like it or not, if you don't, I'll go as strong as to say this, if you don't embrace technology, it's going to cost you a fortune in lost sales, lost business. In fact, I'd even say it's probably going to cost you your business. When you consider that 80% of businesses that start go bust within the first 5 years, and of the remaining 20%, a full 90% of those go bust from year 5 to year 10. No, just let that sink in a little bit and think back to where I said you need to be really good operationally, financially, and through sales and marketing. So really, really important stuff, this, guys. And I hope you're making lots of notes and embracing the ideas that I'm talking about. Right. I want to take you now onto what I call the Results Mastery 6-step process for business growth. A lot of people go straight from step 1 to step 6. They meet people on LinkedIn. They buy lists of people on email. They advertise to people on Google. They get people coming to their website and they try to sell them stuff. Now, I believe if you look at step 3 there, it's really important to get people to know, like, and trust you. And by the way, just to say, if you're listening to this on my podcast, don't worry about not being able to see the screen right now, because everything that I'm going to be talking about will be clearly explained to you on audio. Okay, so let's look at step 1, overcoming obscurity. You've got to start the process of overcoming obscurity. It's the biggest problem facing small businesses. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if they don't know, like, and trust you, they're probably not going to buy. So when they first meet you on Google, they first get an email from you, they first connect to you on LinkedIn, they are not ready to buy. Probably, not always. Sometimes they've connected to you on LinkedIn, had a look at your profile, and they want to buy your stuff. But my belief is we need to start to educate them, start to explain, start to demonstrate, so that when the time comes that they do need your products and services, you're the first people that they speak to. So we need to do that. So think about how many people you know right now. Do you know 5 people? Do you know 50,000 people? Look at LinkedIn. If my target was hotels on LinkedIn, then I need to be able to connect to people in hotels. If my target is hotels in Basingstoke, right, and that's who I service, there are maybe, I don't know, 500 hotels in Basingstoke, and I want to connect to hotel owners and hotel managers. That means there's 1,000 people, but I've only got 400 people I'm connected to on LinkedIn. So therefore, 60% of my market I'm not connected to. They're obscure. They don't know me. They've never heard of me. So I've got to think about that and start to try and work on connecting to more people. Once we've got to that level, we need to look at what I call consistent communication. We've got to get to people and communicate with them on an ongoing basis. We've then got to think about this concept of getting people to know, like, and trust us. And that links in very much with step 4, which is about two-way communication. That's really at a level where they're starting to get to know, like, and trust me. So when I send out an invite to a webinar, people respond. They think, yeah, I'll go on Steve's webinar. Why do they do that? Because there's a level of know, like, and trust. They know me enough to want to know more. When I tell them to go and watch this video that I've produced, they'll go and do that because they know, like, and trust me enough to know that the video would be good and that the video would be of value. Now, once we've got them to that level, to level 3/4, the next step is we've got to get them into meetings. That's why, with you guys, the people watching and listening to this webinar, my next step is I want to meet you. Why do I want to do that? I want to further develop our relationship. So you've got to know me, you listening to me now, and you clearly think that this guy's a total nutter, or you think he's, he's got something here, he's worth listening to. And either way, what I want is to try to get you into a meeting. So that's the next step. And then once we've got you in there, it's really important number is making sure that you convert enough of those people from meetings into sales. And when I say enough, let me just give you a figure. If you convert 4 out of 10 meetings into a sale, and because you had a better sales process, you improve that to 6 out of 10, which is a 20% increase. What you would do over time is to grow your business by 50%, because actually 6 out of 10 is 50% more than 4 out of 10. I know that's a little bit of a brain scrambler, but it's actually true. So, if you want to know how to grow your business by 50%, become better at converting meetings into sales. It's as simple as that. So I hope that was of value once again. I know it is of value, but I really hope that you use that going forward. Okay, we're running a little bit behind time, so I'm going to skip through a couple of things here, but don't think they're less important. So, some recommendations. Work with someone who can help with geometric results. Want to work with me? Great. If you want to work with somebody else, great. But get help because, we need help. Buy the E-Myth, implement, and if you want a free report on it, give me a shout. I can just email me and you can get that. Recommendation 3, stick at it. Don't give up. Don't try this for a couple of weeks. It won't work. It takes time. You're going to get better. You're going to improve. Test, test, and test again. Measure your results. I cannot stress that enough. You cannot manage what you do not measure. You've heard that many, many times. And lastly there, learn more. Recommendation number 4, develop a results-based sales system. Just spoken about that. It's absolutely essential. Number 5, development of you, your skills, and your expertise. I said to you that 7:30 till 8 a.m. is thinking time. Well, 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. is working on Steve time. That's where I do my training. I also do my training in the car. When I'm in the car, years ago, I was listening to cassette tapes, CDs. Now it's podcasts and videos and so on and so forth. I'm not watching videos while I'm driving along, by the way, but you get the idea. And lastly, recommendation six is get to know and use funnels, sales funnels. Really, really powerful. And if you want to talk to me about something I call the Results Mastery Hub, which I believe is the world's best digital marketing system. I know that's quite a big claim, but I think if you took a look at that, you'd possibly think the same yourself. It really is fantastic. We can talk about using funnels at that time. So, if you looked at this, it's all about getting people down that funnel, isn't it? You got a viewer, a visitor, to your website or your email system, whatever it is. They become a fan, a follower. They start visiting your website on a regular basis. They read your content. They turn into a lead or a prospect. They become a customer. They become a repeat customer, and eventually they become a brand advocate. A advocate is better than a customer because they buy from you again and again and again. You love them, they love you. They recommend you. They're a great relationship. I've got loads and loads and loads of what I call business friends. They're people who either are customers or have been customers, and they are now brand advocates, as well as friends. So what is the secret of business? Well, if you ask that question to Tony Robbins, who's probably the world's leading expert on business, and this is what he'd say: raise your game. The secret of success in business is to raise your game. What game? The game called business, the game called operations, the game called finance, the game called sales, the game called marketing. We need to raise our game. I cannot stress that enough. So, we're at the end of the webinar now. Let me just do a quick pitch with you. So, number one, book a free one-to-one meeting with me. To do that, go to results-mastery.com, click on the gold button. That'll give you access to my diary, and you can just book a meeting at a time that's convenient to you. Number two, join my Results Pro program. This is really built for startups, one-person businesses, and it's 10 quid a month. My goal is to get 1,000 members, okay, paying me £10 a month. And I'm working on that right now. It's a great program, provides you with some unbelievable value for a tenner. I mean, it's a cost of what, a couple of Starbucks and a sandwich, and you're going to get, my 30 years of experience. It's just a no-brainer. Go and have a look at it. Again, it's on my website. Step three, join my mastermind program. All right, it costs £300 per month. It's a little bit more, but the value is just extraordinary. You should make, worst case, at least another 50 grand a year. If you're a startup, my goal for you will be to get to six figures, get to 100 grand if you join that program. It's going to cost you 3,000, whatever it is, 3,600 roughly. And to get 50 grand back, to get 100 grand back, that's worst case. So, really consider that. And again, book a meeting, we can talk about it. And lastly, I've just mentioned the Results Hub. Go and have a look at that on my website. It will be the best thing that you've done so far this year. Go and take a look at that program. So this all comes, by the way, with a 10x guaranteed return on investment. So if you invest £10 a month, so 120 quid a year, you'll get at least 10 times that back. Now that's, to be honest, it's just a joke. You'll get a lot more than that. If you invest £300 a month, which is £3,600 for the year, you get at least 36 grand back or your money back. So, there's no risk, there's no problem. It's really easy. Go to my website, results-mastery.com, get yourself booked in. Use the gold button, click on that. That gives you access to my diary, and you can find a time that's convenient to you. That's it. That's all I've got to say. I hope it's been of value. I've tried to get as much as I can in as quick as I can. I'm sorry, I know I've gone hugely over, but I hope you managed to stick to the end, and I hope it was of value to you. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you, hopefully on a one-to-one in the very near future. Thank you very much for listening.